About 10 years ago, God called me into the healing side, the healthcare side. And unbeknownst to me, he started to send me down the path of spiritual on the health. And what happened, the honest story.
Can you explain how that happened, or is that what you were about to say?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
No, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because he put this urge in my heart to go pray for people for healing. And so after 6 months, I got up the nerve to start praying for my first set of people. This was October 2016. And I went to a gas station, went to a grocery store, went to Walmart, and looked for people that looked like they were in pain. And I prayed for 18 people, and a third of them were instantly healed. One lady, she was riding the scooter at Walmart. She had degenerative discs in her neck, degenerative disc in her lower back. She had arthritis and lupus. And it was so bad, she had a medical assistant walking with her, sort of like a nurse assistant, to take things off the shelf because she was physically unable to do it. And so I said, can I pray for you? She said, yes. So I just said, basically, be healed in God's name, right? And the whole thing lasted maybe 20 seconds or less. And I said, well, how do you feel? She goes, I don't feel any pain. Really? I did something you couldn't do. So she gets out, she touches her toes, she moves her head all around. She was explaining that she had this nurse assistant because she couldn't lift her head up because of their degenerative disc. And she's totally without pain. So I didn't believe her.
This was your first prayer.
Yeah, this is the first day, one of the 18. Wow. And 6 of them were
shocked. Were you like?
Yeah, I didn't believe that she was in pain. So I literally had to ask. I asked the nurse assistant, how long have you been working with her? She said 2 years. I said, is this normal? She said, no, I've never seen her do this before. It's like that type of stuff. The thing that impressed my dad the most, because I told my dad this, and he said, oh, that's pretty cool. Then another guy, he'd been racked in pain, lost his job 3 years ago. He's been on opioids, pain reliever, painkillers for all that because the pain was so bad. And all of his pain disappeared. My dad was not terribly impressive. That's pretty cool. And then I said, and I came up with to this other lady. She had on a white blouse and a black compression sleeve on her arm, her right arm. And she said it was RSD. And so I prayed for her and all the pain disappeared. And I said, what is RSD? My dad said RSD is a neurological disease. It's extremely painful. It's incurable. And he said, if that left, that's a miracle. I mean, that's the thing that impressed my dad was RSD. But then, so I didn't understand what was going on. I went to my church. This is the funny part of my story. I went to my church. It's a mega church, legalistic church here in my town. And I went to my senior pastor and I said, God is healing people through me. He said, well, Satan can heal too. So I didn't like that. So I went to my next senior pastor. He gave me the same answer. Well, Satan can heal too. So I figured I was in the wrong church. So I'm no longer there. But what started to happen is I didn't understand this. So I started to go into the ancient Bible text to understand the spiritual laws behind healing. And I recognized something supernatural was going on. Within a year, I was seeing 90% of the people I was praying for being instantly healed. Glaucoma, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, all kinds of sciatica, all kinds of back pain, knee pain, migraines, anxiety, depression, hernias, all kinds of things. Just I would walk. I found the spot at Walmart, this one Walmart that had a lot of low-income people that just had a lot of ongoing health challenges, and it seemed like God just loved them because almost everyone I prayed for, He healed. During this time, I also went into some other wacky stuff. I'm not sure if we want to get too far into it, but it's up to you.
Sure.
Casting out demons, interrogating. Okay, so if we're going to get really real, about the same time, God sent me into what's called deliverance, which is casting out of demonic spirits from people. And what the ancient Bible text says, that our battle is not against flesh and blood, people of flesh and blood like you and me, but against persons without bodies. So in the spiritual realm, you have these, there are a lot of different types of spirits, but one category of spirits is what you would call a demonic spirit. And a demonic spirit is a person without a body. So if you think about you and me in a very simple sense, watch this, Hilary. we're a soul and we're in a body. And the soul is who we are. It's our mind, will, emotions, our personality. And then we're just operating in this body. And that's why when our body dies, we continue to live in the soul realm. And so a demon, in a very simplistic sense, not accurate, but simplistic, is like a soul, an evil soul with no body. And what it wants to do is it wants to inhabit a person. And then it lives out its evil intentions through that person. That's what a demon is.